Mother, man.
Let's go to the World's Fair with Dr. H.H. Holmes and Murder Metal Mayhem.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's Murder Metal Mayhem!
All right. Hell yeah.
What the fuck's up?
Hey, it's Tuesday. We're throwing down a new Murder Metal Mayhem. We're here in Horns High Studios
Yes,
for the Horns High Podcast Network. Episode 205, last one of 2022, Chris.
Fuck yeah.
Hell yeah. And I got Chris here with me, of course, and Joey is in the 419 in his studios. How's everything going with you, Joey?
Not bad. Fucking out here hanging out.
Hell yeah. And everybody have a good Christmas?
Like I said, I mean, I didn't say, but it was a good Christmas till I got totally wasted and it was not good.
And Joey, I know you're really busy around Christmas time, but hopefully you get a little bit of time to chill out with the family.
Yeah, I hung out with Stephanie's family a little bit, and
Hell yeah.
Cool.
we did our Christmas, and then I think my parents are coming out here in a few days. So
Awesome.
That'll
Very
be nice.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah, I went over to my daughters and hung out with the kids and grandkids, and it was good time. Got some good shit, and got an escape room, tickets to an escape room in Peoria. Me and
Nice,
Jenny are
hell yeah.
going to go over there, so that'll be cool. But all right, well, I'm ready for this one. It's, like I said, the last one of the year, and we're throwing down tonight. And Chris, what shirts we got on over there? What are you doing?
What do I have on? Well, I mean, obviously I got the zip up on, the Murder Machine clothing zip up. But one of the many Horrid Demise shirts.
Another Horrid Demise shirt. Okay, well, that seems to be your go-to. That's
Hey,
cool.
I just grabbed shirts, man.
Hey, that's all
Some
good.
of them just my shirts I can't wear to work, and I just got on what I wore to work.
Right. What about you, Joey? What are you doing over there?
I got the Minstrel Disconsumed zip-up hoodie that he released in Indonesia for the split he did with my band Goremager. It's got my logo down the side too, his and mine. And also, I got this badass 419 hat that Stephanie got for me for Christmas.
That motherfucker's
Fuck yeah.
slick.
This is whenever I turn into Punky when I'm wearing this.
There you go. There you go. And I've got my Corrosive shirt on because they're in my top albums of the year, and we'll reveal that when we get to the metal segment. But that's why I got my Corrosive shirt on. So definitely gonna enjoy doing that countdown with that we all have.
Hey Joey, I'm using your phone stand because I gotta use my phone tonight.
That's right.
There you go.
The fucking kids decided they wanted to break the charger to my laptop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's using the phone, but he's making it work. And
yeah.
Chris, we got a new occupant here in Horns High.
Fucking old Eileen Warnos just staring at us so very sexy.
She's over there. She's next to Albert Fish. They're quite the pair, side by side on the wall, looking good. And so we got 10 Sick Rick masks in here now.
God
it's
damn,
getting
dude.
crazy. So,
Hell yeah.
so yeah, they're all around us. But yeah, Eileen looking really rough. But what a great mask.
Yeah, the fucking
Rick
quality is
did.
great. It looks
Killer.
amazing. Hell
The
yeah.
teeth are just janky as fuck. I mean, she's looking rough like she did, you know. So
It looks like Eileen.
very realistic.
Hairdo's on point.
Yeah, exactly. So last week, guys, we did that Canadian case of old Peter Woodcock and had Shane on to talk with us, which was fun. And that was a pretty disturbing story, though.
Kids
Old
killing
schlong
kids.
penis dick.
That's
Schlong
right.
penis dick.
Kids killing kids, man. He killed an adult, too, and he was an adult. And he's allowed to leave the mental hospital on a day pass. They found out that was not a good idea.
Real fast.
Not quite ready for that.
Probably never would have been.
No. So it was a good one, and Shane helped us kind of poke fun at the name Peter Woodcock. We acted like junior high school kids throughout the episode, but hey, That's what we do, right? And Joey, you did your metal feature on a band I never would have expected us to ever do.
But it was so good.
Freaked out and did a little fucking Disturbed.
Oh, hell yeah. That was so funny,
Dude,
though.
it was hilarious, bro.
Yeah, it was meant to be funny in case you're listening and
Yeah.
go, what the fuck are they talking about? Because we always play like really extreme metal on here for the
Yeah.
most part. And so, yeah, Disturbed, that was really funny. And we got a good laugh about that. And we threw down a new Killer Cage match. And we did that press conference, man. That was crazy.
The press
Chris.
conference is great.
Yeah.
Tonight's the battle.
Yeah, tonight's the battle. Last week was the press conference leading up to that, so that'll be fun. But it was a wild one. So if you missed episode 204, go check it out. And we were passing 900 on that one today. So with holidays going on, that's
Fucking
pretty
A, man.
damn good.
Thank
So
y'all.
thank you guys.
Because I'm sure everybody wanted to listen to that shit during their
Of course.
family Christmas
Carving
time.
the turkey
Yeah,
or the
yeah.
ham, listening to Peter
Well,
Woodcock.
kids, while you're opening your presents, let's listen to this.
Yeah. Now, tonight we're doing a feature on a huge name in true crime, that's for sure. We save these for special occasions. And Chris, tonight,
Fucking motherfucking H.H. Holmes.
you know it.
And we
Henry
have
Howard.
H.H. Holmes mask.
We
from
do
Sick
have a
Rick.
Holmes mask in sepia at that, so it's very old-timey looking. And so we're going back to the 1800s for this one. It should be a good one. But like with a lot of these older stories, the crimes tend to get exaggerated a bit. And Chris,
I just found out some new shit.
we were talking before the show, and Joey, I hope you read the notes, because there's some stuff I found out that I had absolutely no idea about when we're going to talk about this one tonight. So
Oh yeah.
definitely a lot of fiction
Surprised
with the
shit
Holmes.
out of me, man.
Right. So we're going to talk about it tonight. But that Murder Castle stuff of horror movies, and we're going to talk about some murder, chaos, lots of mayhem, just nuts. And we'll do that in the murder segment. Tonight, though, as I mentioned in the metal segment, we're going to do our top albums of the year, and we each got our own lists. And so that's going to be good. So you're going to hear about some albums maybe you didn't know about. I always love this time of year for that because I look at the lists and I actually discovered a new band from looking at the lists. I'll mention
There
them
you go.
later.
Hell yeah.
So this is a good way for you guys, if you're listening, to maybe hear one Joey or Chris or I mention that you didn't even know about, or a new band you never even heard of before. Well worth checking it out. So we'll do that in the metal segment, and all
Speaking
the bumper
of metal,
Yeah.
Speaking of metal, real quick, and since we just got done talking about Christmas, fucking for Christmas, I got me some fucking goat horns right here.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
holy shit, bro.
So now we
Fucking
can
A.
pass the horns back and forth virtually,
Nice.
but realistically.
That's
so
what's
fuck
up.
it. Moving
That's
up in
awesome.
the world.
That's awesome. You got your own goat horns again. So yeah, we're going to do that in the metal segment, and all the bumper music are bands from our top lists. So we're doing 60-second clips tonight instead of the usual 30 seconds. So each of them will be a minute, and we'll throw that down as we go through this episode.
Fucking right.
All right, we won't be doing a killer cage match because, as Chris pointed out, we got one hell of a match
There is
tonight.
a battle going on this evening.
Holy
Tag
shit.
teaming it.
In Toledo at the Huntington Center. It's going to be crazy. If you heard that press conference, that got nuts. Punky was shooting
Hunky
the gun.
out there pulling pistols and shit.
Yeah,
Like,
cops
oh,
showing
fuck.
up, shutting it
Let
down.
me just tell y'all that right now, because this is about to go live here in the 419 here, like within the hour.
Right.
The downtown area around
It's just
Huntington
crazy.
Center, it's so fucking crazy. There's people selling fucking Ole Creole bootleg T-shirts.
Oh,
They got
no
fucking-
way.
They got Joe Ball fucking gator heads, but really they're just little caimans that they fucking harvest.
Right.
pretty crazy down there right now.
Wow, that's got to be
You got
exciting,
motherfuckers
though,
doing
Joey.
donuts in the intersections and shit.
Yeah, right.
Hard to find a place to park in downtown Toledo tonight, that's for sure. Well, very good. Yeah, this should be an interesting matchup. We got Punky and Pierre doing a tag team match against old Robert Benoit, Old Creole, and his partner in crime, Chris, old
Fucking Joe
Ball.
motherfucking Ball with
Hell
them
yeah.
fucking gators.
with the Gators, and it's going to be last man standing tonight. I can't wait. So that'll be a lot of fun. And we'll do that in the Mayhem segment. So that's something to look forward to.
Yes,
Big thanks to everybody out there listening. We know you got things going on at the holidays. So we were at about 2,200 last week, which is good, considering it's a busy week with everybody's got stuff happening. So we appreciate it.
Thank
and
you
go
all for
check out
listening.
that new website,
really
murdermetalmayhem.com. All right, guys, we got a lot on our plate tonight. Going to take a little short trip to Chicago and the Murder Castle. So let's try to avoid that special oven in the basement.
Fuck, let's grow that thick-ass mustache and get on there.
Fuck yeah, some Corrosive and the song Hail the Hellfire from their 22 album Toxic Apocalypse on CDN Records, and going to be talking more about those guys later on. All right, now we are going to be doing the case of old H.H. Holmes tonight, and he was quoted as saying, I was born with the devil in me. I could not help the fact I was a murderer. No more than a poet can help the inspiration to sing. So,
Hey, man.
quite the thing to say.
Got their thing in life that they love.
Yeah, so we're going to explore his story and how some of what he did was kind of the legendary stuff, you know, things that the true crime fans know about. And, you know, like we've seen with other cases, sometimes things get a little exaggerated. So we'll talk about it.
Especially that long ago, like stories fucking get built up. So we'll see.
Exactly. So the media tends to, you know, overdo the details. And when you got a guy like this who did some crazy, outlandish shit, you know, it's easy to see how stories become bigger than they really were.
Right.
But Holmes legitimately killed at least 9 people, and he was the con man of con men. I don't know of anybody who did, you know, more crazy scams than that dude. Like, holy shit.
He knew what he was doing with the fucking, well, to a point. He knew what he was doing with the cons until he got caught up.
Yeah. So, I mean, he did legitimately kill quite a few and did some real devious shit. So we're going to talk about it. And, Chris, we got our H.H. Holmes mask from Sick Rick in here with us tonight.
We do.
Providing a little inspiration here.
He's always watching us every fucking Tuesday.
Now, what is it about Holmes, though, that makes him such an iconic
I think
case?
It's the lore of the murder castle.
Right.
Like, you hear about that, you're like, hold on, this fucking guy did
built
what?
a hotel to kill
Like,
people. Like, it's fucked up.
Fucking 3-story building that was 2 blocks long or some shit like
Right.
Like, holy fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And didn't pay for shit.
Right, yeah. He was a scammer, that's for sure. So, yeah, that murder castle is just so iconic, which is where we're, you know, kind of going with this here. But, Joey, I mean, we're going to talk about some of the theories, you know, like that Holmes was Jack the Ripper and all sorts of stuff like that. I mean, I don't know, you know, I don't know if they're ever going to figure out who Jack the Ripper was, but I think the Holmes thing is definitely a stretch.
Yeah, personally, I don't think that that's a correct link right there. But, you know, it is interesting nonetheless, and you can see the parallels that people use to come to that conclusion. So, regardless, it's interesting. I agree with you. I don't think Jack the Ripper is ever going to be solved. So whenever you look at the case of that over there, and then you look at the case of H.H. Holmes over here, and what the media did with that, then
Right.
I think that, you know, they're kind of equivalent, and those are the reasons why both of those cases are more well known in true crime, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, that whole term, the exaggerating it in the press, I found out a new term, yellow journalism is what they call that, which is, you know, like the National Enquirer, the sensational type stuff. And, you know, this fed right into that. I mean, honestly, I mean, could you imagine some shit like that happening today? I mean, they'd be wall to wall with all the gory details, you know, all the gory details.
All of
for
them.
sure.
There'd be all the pictures and everything of, I mean, Jesus Christ.
Right. Now, when I was first introduced to this case was by the Harold Schechter book, Depraved, a great book. I also saw the documentary that John Borowski did called The Strange Case of Dr. H.H. Holmes, which was very fascinating and made him so unique from other serial killers or other killers. And, you know, using the term serial killer with him is a little questionable because I know a serial killer is not like a killing for hire, you know, like a mercenary or a hitman for the mob or
Right.
something like that. So I think he kind of borderlines some of that because he was certainly doing some of it for financial gain, but some of it maybe not so much. So we'll
Some
talk
of it was
about
just
that.
because he wanted to kill.
Yeah, they were just in the way. So the murder castle, though, was the real draw. And as I discovered with some recent research into Holmes, there was some exaggeration there. But we're going to talk about that as things unfold tonight. And
I'm pretty sure whenever I was growing up, the whole way that I ever first heard about H.H. Holmes was macabre, to be honest.
Okay.
Their song, Dr. Holmes, He Stripped Their Bones. Yeah, like that band probably opened the door to at least fucking, 20, 25 fucking killers that I wasn't
sure.
aware of by that point. And then, you're reading the fucking lyrics and you're listening to the songs. You're like, man, I got to look up about this guy.
Yeah, see what really happened, yeah.
Yeah, and back then it wasn't fucking internet, so you would have to find fucking literature.
Right, you go to the library or
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, pre-internet, definitely a lot different. That's for damn sure. But, with this case, we have to get down to business to keep some of the detail to a minimum because this could turn into a days-long episode for sure. There's a lot.
We're already starting late.
And we started late because of the big match and all that, so we're going to get to it. But this story can get confusing with all the little details. But honestly, the body count was at 9 confirmed. And like we were saying, with killing for a profit, I've seen some definitions of a serial killer say that those guys are kind of excluded.
Right.
So I think Holmes is kind of on the fence there to some extent, but we'll talk about it. Now, Chris, a lot of people don't realize that H.H. Holmes was not really his name.
Oh my God, dude.
So he had a kind of a shitty name, really.
I mean, his first name did start with an H when he was born. But yeah, his name was Herman Webster Mudgett.
Oh, man.
Like,
talk about getting your ass kicked on the playground with that
Dude.
name, right?
Dude, Mudgett. You're
Yeah.
getting fucked with all the goddamn time, dude.
Yeah, and Herman Webster doesn't help him a whole lot either.
No,
so.
I mean, I guess back in that day, I guess Herman wouldn't have been that big of a deal.
True.
But you're walking around with the last name Mudgett.
Yeah.
Like, you're
You're going to
not-
get fucked with.
You're going to get fucked with.
It's like Boy Named Sue type shit.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And Joey, from all accounts, he had a pretty normal childhood, but there was an instance about some kids scaring the shit out of him. What was the deal with that, man?
Fuck, I can't really remember how that all went down. I know that he was fucking hanging around with a couple boys, and I think they got the skeleton from, it was from the science class or something out of their school or something. wasn't it?
Yeah, it was something like that, or a doctor's
Yeah.
office or
and,
something
and
like that.
And they set it up in this fucking room and fucking had young Herman Webster Mudgett fucking go in there. And yeah, they fucking freaked him the fuck out, but I'm pretty sure that he referenced that instance later on and
Yes.
talked about, how it was influential and how he ended up, because he was scared as fuck from it, but he also fucking was very excited over both the fear and finding the skeleton, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
basic-
it did fuck with him. That's
and
for
basically,
sure.
like when that happened, he basically kind of said, like, I lost all fear of everything. That's what got him interested in the fucking human body, kind of.
Oh wow. Yeah, I don't. I'm not surprised because
Right.
it definitely was impactful on him. Now, I did read some accounts, and a lot of these stories we see this that said he was known to like torture animals, but then I saw something else where his mom was like, "No way, he wasn't like that. He was a good kid." There are differing opinions. You get an old 100-plus-year-old story.
Right.
It's you're going to get some of that. But
And that could be his accounts, too, because there's
that's true.
so many accounts with other serial killers where they say, yeah, this happened. Somebody in my family molested me or something. The whole family's like, no, that shit
Right.
never fucking happened, dude.
Right. Yeah. That we've seen that here recently. We've
Yeah.
done some of those. Now, he's born in Gilmanton, New Hampshire in 1861 to a two-parent, upper-middle-class home. He was the third of 5 children and born with a condition that causes left eye to droop. And because of that, he would seldom look people in the eye. So I'm sure that didn't help with getting fucked with at school.
Him and Henry Lee could have been hanging out.
That's true. That's true. Some would claim he had an abusive father, but I also read other accounts that was not true at all.
There was another left eye that also was involved in arson. Back in
Lisa?
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. I think this stuff comes from people who wanted to build up the case that he was this depraved serial killer. But as we know, I mean, most serial murderers kill with a sexual component, and this was not his way at all. So he was really just killing either for monetary gain or because they were in his way and he didn't want to get busted.
Right.
So he was kind of like getting rid of people. But Chris, he graduates at 16. He marries old Clara at 17 years old.
Yeah. I mean, you get married young back in the day. Like,
1878.
Yeah, motherfuckers are pawning their 14-year-old daughters off to 35-year-olds and shit.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
With 3 pigs and 10 chickens for a dowry, right?
Right, like what the fuck,
So,
man?
yeah, that was definitely more common. But he comes from this Methodist background.
Right.
Pretty religious parents.
Yeah, he kind of... And yeah, they had a kid, they named Robert or whatever, but eventually as time goes on, like, he just, like, totally dropped them eventually, like, done with you guys. Like,
Yeah.
got other shit to do, and just leaves them.
Yeah, he does. He up and leaves and kind of leaves them back in the dust, and he catches up with them later on. They're like happy to see him. And
Like, that's
comes
weird.
up with this big story about why he was gone.
Oh, he was
for
good
all
at coming up
these
with big-ass stories.
Yeah, that's for sure. Now, Joey, old Herman Mudgett, would go to college, drops out, and then goes back a year later and gets into medical school. What was the deal with that?
He was up in Michigan at the University of Michigan in their Department of Medicine and Surgery, and
Right.
I guess whenever he was, what they say, whenever he first went to college, whenever he first enrolled, that he had he would show no interest in it or whatnot, and then he ended
Right.
up dropping out. But then whenever he went to the Michigan school, and then he was getting into something that he was very interested in, obviously, then he all of a sudden took off and he fucking became a whiz at what he was fucking learning, apparently. So
Right. Yeah.
It is funny though, because back in those days, and we talked about it before with the grave robbing and shit, he was involved in that as well.
Right.
Here on American soil, with going to get cadavers and selling them to the fucking college for fucking profits and shit.
Right. Yeah, that's what was funny because we just did the Burke and Hare episode,
Right, yeah,
a little
exactly.
bit ago, and that came up, and I thought it was funny that old Holmes was involved in that kind of shit too.
It's like, I got to make money, and I don't feel like digging out bodies. I'll just make bodies.
Right. So it would be, what he learned about dead bodies that's going to go on to help him with his insurance scams later on. He
Oh,
would
my
later
God.
say he was doing scams all the way back in his medical school days. So he was doing this shit early. And like Chris said, he was one hell of a fucking storyteller,
Yeah.
coming up with all sorts of aliases and very confusing. I mean, I don't know how he kept
Like
all this shit
his
straight.
travels, fucking staying places and shit. Just
Yeah,
different names,
womanizing
fucking, yeah.
and just doing all kinds of shit. Some would claim that he was abusive to Clara, and like you said, Chris, he left him and Robert, the baby, and just moved away. And she left him and moved back to New Hampshire, I should say. And he would then move to New York, where there were accusations that he was seen with a small boy that winds up disappearing.
He like died, like fell off a building or cliff or something.
Is that what it was?
And they say that he might have had something to do with this kid's death. So.
But he denies it, of course, and he winds up and moving to Philadelphia. So he was good at just upping and taking off as needed, you know. And Chris, he's definitely moving around a lot, but all these scams he's got going on, I don't know how he kept it all straight.
I don't know how he kept, I mean, I did see there was a couple of times where he would tell somebody a story, and then when he come back, he's like, "Wait, what the fuck?" He'd get his shit fucking mixed
Confused,
up.
yeah.
Like, but when you're pulling all this shit and you're traveling around and you don't want to leave a trace of where you're, or a trail of where you've been going and shit, like,
right.
You got to come up with some backstories and some aliases.
Yeah.
You just got to remember what you told to who and
Right.
all that shit. That's the problem.
Yeah, this is before people had, like, you know, computers and like a
Right.
cell phone you could take notes with.
Like, oh shit. And even now, if you doing keeping notes and shit on your phone or your computer, they get
You
a hold
get
of that.
busted.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like,
then you're
well,
busted.
You got all your fucking history right here. What's up?
Right. Now, Joey, it's when he's in Philadelphia, he gets a job working at a drugstore, and what happens there? Somebody dies again.
Yeah, he's mixing the drugs and, you know, preparing the doses and the fucking.
That's called a
prescriptions for
speedball.
the people. Yeah, and apparently one of the fucking ones that he mixed up, and a young boy took it and ended up dying. So he denies, you know, that he had anything to do with it, like, maliciously, and I'm pretty sure he said that they couldn't even actually point that drug straight back to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That he was he was like, yeah, I may have prepared some of those, but that doesn't mean that I did his or
Yeah.
some shit. But he adamantly denied that he had anything to do with it. But the boy did die, and the ruling was caused because of the medication that he took.
Right. And then that's when he takes on the new name Henry Howard Holmes.
Yeah, because if he wasn't guilty, I don't know, but he fucking quit the job.
Right.
Right, he's like, oh,
Yeah,
fuck.
definitely looked guilty, becomes H.H. Holmes, and I'm wondering, guys, if he was the original Triple H, you know. So, you know.
Coming off the top rope.
So he's now known as Dr. H.H. Holmes, or as we can continue to use that name now, because the Mudget thing is just too fucking stupid.
It
Doesn't
sounds like
sound cool at all.
it sounds like a fucking-
H.H. Holmes sounds cool.
Much it sounds like a fucking, like a
The
fucking
math teacher? Or
No,
something?
like a Muppets, like
Oh, a Muppet character?
Jim Henderson fucking character or some shit.
The Mudget. So apparently he gets the name Holmes, though, from Dr. Sherlock or Detective Sherlock Holmes, which apparently he was a fan of. So that's where that came from. He ends up going to Chicago, the next chapter of his very
Chi-Town, baby.
interesting life, for sure. The good town for him to start up in. This is where the sensational part of the story would take place.
Yeah.
August of 1886.
It's like shortly after the Chicago fire, and they're starting to rebuild the city anyway.
Yeah, perfect timing. It was the perfect storm. He was there. Lots going on. The World's Fair's coming to Chicago. Lot of things happening. And Chris, I mean, some speculated, as we said, that Holmes was the Ripper, but the guy that was behind that was one of his
It's like his
descendants.
great grandson or
Something
some
like
weird
that,
shit like
yeah.
that. But yeah, he fucking claimed that, yeah, he was Jack the Ripper, and he traveled back and forth, or had a guy that was over in England that he was having kill people or some shit. But
Yeah.
I think it's bullshit. He's just trying to look for some kind of notoriety. And
I think so.
And I think, didn't he actually use the name Mudget?
Yeah, he goes by Mudget.
he
Yeah,
goes
he's
by
a pretty nice guy, I've been told. I never dealt with him.
But
I've got a common friend that knows him and said he's a nice enough guy, but I think he's definitely fishing. That
Right.
TV series, American Ripper, was hard to watch. I watched it, though, because it was so absurd that it was hard to actually watch it. It really was. But what do you think, Joey? I mean, do you agree? I know earlier you mentioned you didn't think he was the Ripper either.
Yeah, I don't think so, and the whole reason, especially being, is because, like you say, he would have had to have been traveling back and forth through all this to do that.
Yeah, and
I never heard any real accounts that he was actually doing that and fucking going overseas.
There was something on that American Ripper show that they were going through the logs of the ships at the time, and there was a Holmes, but that's a pretty common name.
Right. And
like I said, they were really grasping at straws with that.
like you said, like fucking ships, not like ocean liners like we have now, fucking like steam fucking powered. They're not going real fast, and
Taking
plus you
like-
got to get from Chicago to the fucking
Right.
coast.
Yeah,
to
you're
fucking
not
get all the
flying
shit.
anywhere.
Yeah, you're not flying anywhere. You're
It's
fucking
like horse and buggy and fucking.
yeah. I mean that's a lot of
boats.
time to get from Chicago to fucking England. That's a lot of fucking time.
Exactly.
The other reason why I also wouldn't really perceive that to be too fucking much of a truth is that the murders were so different.
They were, dude.
I mean, I understand that both of them had surgical precision involved and whatnot.
Right.
But
No,
besides that, everything
even
else
close.
was fucking. Yeah, everything else was different about it. So.
No, I mean, as we know, Jack the Ripper was just brutal. I mean, eviscerating
Yeah, I
the
was gonna
bodies.
say the evisceration and
Yeah,
everything.
Holmes
just-
was just, the poisoning, or like if he did kill him, it was, gassing him and shit like
Right.
that. Not ripping them apart with knives like Jack
you
the
said,
Ripper.
Holmes is more like he was doing things for fucking an advantage in his life. Like he was
Right.
trying to fucking move
Money.
up in whatever area. Yeah, money or whatever.
Right.
Where Jack the Ripper was definitely out fucking brutalizing women.
Right.
like hardcore.
Yeah, totally different thing. But there was one part in one of the episodes where they had a knife expert judging what kind of knife Jack the Ripper would have used,
Right.
and said it was a knife that a doctor would have had at the time.
Well,
and
yeah.
they're like, "Well, Holmes was a doctor,
So?
it's possible he was the Ripper." And it's just like,
Like,
how
well-
many doctors were there in the world at that time?
Right.
Like that is fucking ridiculous. But that's the kind of shit they were using to hang their hat on with this. It was absurd.
Dude, fucking
So-
Catherine Knight had fucking knives.
That's true. So yeah, I just thought it was silly. So he gets a job at a drugstore on the corner of South Wallace and 63rd in the Inglewood neighborhood of Chicago. He works hard. He buys the drugstore. Now, there were accounts that he murdered the owners of the store, which were a couple, but they were later found to be alive there in Inglewood. So that was another one of those,
Right.
kind of things that he moved in and did like nefarious shit. But I've been, since been informed that he just bought the store and took it over. They
he's
retired
balling.
and moved out. Exactly. But now, Chris, it would be the building across the street, because at that time it was a vacant lot. And he goes and builds this, like you said, like 2 city block.
fucking big ass building, which is the fucking murder castle.
Right,
We'll call
as
it
they
that.
called it, right?
And he, the way he got this fucking building built is amazing to me. It's just
Yeah.
like all the
Scamming.
scams like we
Yeah.
talked about before. But
Yeah.
it was fucking third
Changing
floor,
contractors, not paying them.
not paying them,
you
like
know.
some disappearing. Like you said, it's 3-story. The first story is just basically storefronts and shit.
Right.
And the second story was the
Apartments.
but that was the murder part.
No, that
where-
was those were just like apartments people
Right.
rented. It was the 3rd floor that was supposed to be the hotel.
right. Yeah,
But it never really was finished.
Yeah, the storefront apartments hotel is the way it was. Like you said, never finished, but he got a lot done for fucking the way he was doing for free labor and fucking free furnishings and
Yeah.
fucking, he got her done.
Yeah, and the way he scammed them was interesting. He had these rooms, and what we've heard, is a lot of these rooms were designed to, get people and kill them and all this kind of stuff. But later finding out that he did it more to be able to hide the shit, so when the repo man came, he couldn't
Right.
find anything. Hallways that never led to anything.
He got the fucking safe that he put in the fucking goddamn built into the fucking building,
Right.
and never paid for it. And they come back and they're like trying to repo this safe,
Right.
and he's like,
You're
"If
gonna
you
fuck up my
if
building."
you fuck up my fucking building, I'm gonna sue you. You're paying for that."
Right.
And they kind of had to just be basically like,
Oh.
well, if we do this damage to the building, it's going to cost so much money
Right.
here. And they like, fuck it, just
Exactly.
keep the motherfucker. Dude.
Exactly. So he was good at that, that's for sure. And legendary stories about how he ran all these scams, just unbelievable. But now, Joey, once Holmes was discovered for what he was, the media is going crazy about stories of that murder castle.
Yeah, I mean, that's the shit that's going to make headlines. The fucking... His home was goddamn huge.
Right.
The parallels to Jack the Ripper were probably already taken off in the fucking papers and shit. But
Right.
It's like, okay, it's the murder castle, which is kind of like the equivalent now. I don't know how many of them I've seen, but just say Ariel Castro whenever his shit came out, the
Right.
House of Horrors.
Right.
You know, there's been so many houses of horrors. Like Gacy's house was a house of horrors.
Right.
It's like the same thing as the murder castle back then, except back like nowadays, like A, people are more desensitized, B, you can look into shit to see, you know, what's true and what's not. Back then, you just saw fucking shit coming out in newspapers talking about this house that was fucking huge, scary, fucking people were dead.
Right.
And, you know, any way that they wanted to spin it, people were going to be at least talking about that, if not fully believing it, you know?
Right. Yeah, and I saw that there was one room that had a rope in it, and they call it the hanging room. You know, so that's the kind of stuff they were kind of dragging. You know, taking a little morsel of something that was true and making it into this over the top. I mean, we heard this stuff with Countess Bathory, you know, that story, and Gita Ray. We did that many moons ago, Chris.
Oh, we did that forever.
Yeah, and those kind of stories of these hundreds and hundreds of victims, it gets to be legend and absurd. And that's kind of what they were doing with this story, is taking these little morsels of information and building up this whole murder castle thing.
Throwing that little ball and throwing it down the snow hill.
Right.
Like,
yeah, letting it gather moss,
Yeah.
right? So at the end, he built this building. He built the building during the World's Fair in Chicago while that was going on. So he had, you know, millions of people in the city. Now, the book Devil in the White City by Eric Larson told that story. It's fantastic. If you haven't read that book, it's well worth reading, even still, knowing that some of the Murder Castle stuff's been greatly exaggerated. It's still a great read. I watched a documentary the other day about this and kind of found out some things that were more overhyped than I even suspected. And, you know, like Joey said, it sold newspapers, you know, and that's what the name of the game is. It doesn't really surprise me, but it is kind of a bummer at the same time. There was an article that was published in the Smithsonian magazine that my wife sent me that was published in 2021, and it backed all that up. So I was really surprised about these exaggerations to the point where some of this stuff said like no murders happened at the murder castle. And you know, there were murders, but not actually like what they thought of people being, you know, put in the oven and burned and the skeleton sold and all that. None of that stuff, as I've been reading here as of late, is untrue.
Isn't it
And
kind of
I'm really
crazy how
shocked.
we go into this like researching shit that we think we
Right.
know, and now all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, what the fuck?
This is by
actual
far the
shit?
most dramatic of those, because
Yeah.
I was completely flabbergasted when I watched a Casual Criminalist episode about this, and I thought, there's no way. And then the more I kept reading, even Wikipedia's got it right. It's like, what the fuck?
the History Channel webpage,
Yeah.
fucking all that shit.
Yeah, I mean, these are reputable sources saying this stuff.
Right.
Now, Harold Schechter was quoted in that Smithsonian article saying that he realized that at the end of writing the book Depraved, he realized that most of the murder castle, most of the stuff was greatly exaggerated, And my question is, why the fuck did your publisher publish that book?
If you know it was false.
Yeah, I mean, it's meant to be an account of what happened. It's not a fictional story the way he writes it.
Right.
He writes them very well, but I'm just really surprised. And I love Harold Schechter's stuff. That was just really surprised me.
I'll tell you what, one way to look at it with H.H. Holmes and, you know, the lore that came afterwards with the story or whatnot is it's like with pulp magazines and things like that were doing publications underground and everything else,
Right.
that took that story and probably also helped create the fucking the legend of what it is by adding their own dark elements.
Right, exactly.
To it. So people start telling the story to each other, and it's like Chinese telephone.
True.
This person tells it with this dark detail, and this is added, and then so you know, eventually it's like, okay, the overall story may have become exaggerated, and you can look back on it factually, and you can know that, but the I guess you would say fictionalized, you know, urban legend or whatever that came out of it
Right.
is definitely something that is dark to the mind and
Right.
really cool, I guess, you know.
And
It is.
society and the media kind of made him more of a monster than what he
Yeah.
Than what
might
he
have
really
actually
was.
been and
Right.
shit.
But it
But
is
in
such
all-
a cool story, and it's so unique
Yeah.
in
And he
serial
did
killer
kill
stories.
people
Oh, he
for
did.
real.
Yeah,
Oh,
he did
yeah,
kill
for
people.
sure.
That's without
Yeah.
a doubt.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like we were saying, we're going to get to some of that. Now, after he's arrested, though, the building burned and was gutted. Eventually, it would become a post office until 1938.
It's still a post office right now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
As far as I know, like, I'm pretty sure it is still
Yeah.
a post office.
Okay. I think you're right. He also owned a factory that he claimed was for glass bending, but some suspect that he used the ovens to incinerate some of his evidence from some of his crimes. Who knows?
That makes more sense to me.
It does. So the oven, I think that they said was in the basement of the castle, I think was legit.
Right.
That it was just at the other place, not at the murder castle.
Right.
That it was at
And,
this
and it's
business.
like fucking, you know, like Al Capone and shit, and you're fucking in
Oh, yeah.
Chicago, and
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
H.H. Holmes was probably somewhat of a gangster in his time because he was so fucking shisty and shit.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, taking people and fucking disposing of them that way, that all makes way more sense to me than he was fucking just cooking them in his fucking house somewhere deep in the fucking,
Right.
you know, kitchen in the dungeon or whatever.
Right. I agree, dude. So definitely an interesting part of the story. Now, Chris, he did have a mistress, old Julia Smythe, but when her husband finds out about it, he goes and fucking takes off and leaves her with the baby.
Didn't she, wait. Is that the one that he got pregnant too and that she wanted to fucking him to marry her after her husband left?
I believe so, yes.
And he's like, yeah, I'll marry you, but the only way I'm going to marry you is if you get an abortion. So he's like, I have to be the one that does the abortion.
Right.
Guess what? She didn't survive the abortion either.
Right.
How fucked up is that?
Yeah, he had a couple of those.
Yeah, like, no, I got this taken care of.
Exactly.
I got this.
Except I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
Right.
right?
And you're going to be a super, super late term abortion.
So yeah, he's doing some underhanded, devious shit. But Joey, 1892, he has another relationship with Emmeline.
He's a hoe.
He is. She's working for him, and she also gets in a pregnant sort of way. What happens with that?
You know, apparently, it's the same fucking situation that, you know, they said that she got pregnant, and then H.H. Holmes is like, hey, I'm a badass fucking doctor, and I can take care of this, and we can just have an abortion, and then you don't have to worry about having that fucking problem in your life.
Right.
She was okay with it, but then, she dies during fucking complications with that surgery.
Right.
So That's his track record's not too great.
No.
Right. And I have no doubts he would do some shit like that with his DV
No, not at all.
shit. Fucking.
Not at all.
We could definitely do a commercial for H.H. Holmes abortion.
Yes,
clinic.
we can.
That sounds like a good one. And then
Hey
there's
guys, you got a lady pregnant that you don't want.
another woman, Emily, same thing, ends up vanishing. So I think, he's got kind of that track record of, taking them and,
I mean, he did
making
have
them
kind
go
of
away.
a record of people just disappearing, though.
He did, really. He really did. Now, I think it fits with Holmes to kill people to get in his way. In the case of these young women, I think it's legit that he gets rid of them because he doesn't want to deal with them, their baby, none of it. He
None of
just
it.
doesn't
It's
want to have to
this
deal
is
with it.
not going kosher with my plan on what I want to do. Fucking, you guys are fucking me all up.
Yeah, definitely. 1893, a woman named Minnie begins working for Holmes. He talked to her about transferring a deed from her property in Fort Worth to him, and she does it.
She does it like, oh, I got you.
I don't know what the deal
You got that
is.
good dick, son.
No, actually, he doesn't. I was watching The Casual Criminalist, and they were talking about the autopsy done on him
Right.
afterward, and said it was incredibly small.
Oh, poor guy.
So yeah, he's dealing with this fucking micro penis.
Maybe he's a grower, not a shower.
Or maybe he fucking had some good fucking pussy eating
Right,
abilities.
he got
I'm
that
not
fucking
sure.
tongue working and
Something,
shit.
but he's somehow able to get these women to do this shit. He had her transfer the name to Alexander Bond, which is another one of his aliases. And Holmes and Minnie are presenting themselves as married. They wind up getting an apartment in Lincoln Park.
One step closer to the edge, and I'm about to break.
Different Lincoln Park. And her sister Annie comes to visit, but neither woman is seen alive after that. So, Chris, I mean, are they just pissing him off and he's just getting rid of him? They don't want him to watch football on Sunday? Like, what's going on?
I think homie just was like, look, I know y'all want a threesome, but I ain't about that. I'm a single woman man. Nah, he probably fucking he disappeared them really good.
Yeah, he really did. He's getting pretty good at that.
He's like fucking Leonard Lake is like fucking killing everyone closest to him.
Right?
That's
yeah,
true,
see,
man.
that's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, and I don't know, Joey, you think he would have been hanging out at the Nation? Fucking
Oh,
HHM?
obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that mustache too.
Now, Joey, between 1891 and 1895, Holmes is suspected of killing 6 others. Some of them worked for Holmes. A few were other people who attended the World's Fair that were never seen again. But I'm not sure if he had anything to do with this. I don't know what you think. I mean, he did have some victims, but I'm not sure about this. A lot of unknowns.
I don't know. Yeah, to me, it's a little bit of a stretch to think that he was fucking luring people out of the fair crowd back to his horror chamber, but it does fucking make sense, or not make sense. It sounds better with the horror story of the horror mansion,
Right.
And that he was fucking abducting all these people and shit, and I think that was part of the exaggerated story. But at the same time, I mean, you can't never say that it didn't happen because he did have a lot of he had money and resources, and if he wanted to do something fucked up like that, he could have. So
Yeah, definitely. It definitely makes for a good story, that's for damn sure. So the July of 1894, the heat is getting a bit hot for Holmes there in Chicago. So he leaves for Fort Worth, Texas.
It is July in Illinois. It does get hot.
And he goes to Texas, though.
That's
like
probably
fucking
not the best place to go.
a little hotter. He inherits the land from those sisters, old Winnie and Annie. He starts building another building. He's playing his scams down there
Yes, sir.
with contractors. He's pulling insurance fucking scams. He winds up doing some time in St. Louis. I mean, he is all over the fucking place. And his
maybe he could have been in England at some point.
I guess.
But as all this time he's spending in other places in this country, I don't see it.
I don't either. I mean, the thing he was good at was getting bodies to claim for life insurance policies he's
Right.
taking out on people. And so he's just really getting good at that
Yep.
and playing all these scams. And
I bet he would have loved let the bodies hit the floor. Like, fuck yeah.
Yeah, for sure. But, forensics aren't a thing. I mean, it's a lot easier to pull this shit off back in his day, that's for sure. But it gets very confusing with him all over the country. He's even going to Canada, which is just like, wow. How the fuck did he cover that much ground? But Chris,
maybe he was a time traveler.
I guess. The Peitzel family, though, would meet up with Holmes and definitely turn out to be a bad thing for them.
Yeah, that was Benjamin Peitzel, father. That's his homie right now. So they want to start up on this fucking life insurance scam thing.
Right.
He's about it. So he decides they're going to get a cadaver, a corpse or whatever.
So fake his death.
Fake Benjamin Peitzel's death. Well, in reality, he fucking kills Peitzel.
Yeah, he didn't tell him he was the fucking cadaver.
By the way, you are actually going to be the corpse.
Yeah,
that
sorry.
motherfucking. So, ends up killing him. And I don't. Because Peitzel was like a fucking alcoholic or whatever. But, basically, he set it up to look like he was caught in an explosion and shit.
He burned.
Yeah, he burned or whatever. So he's, not very recognizable. But. So he did that, and then he fucking goes back to Peitzel's family. He's like, oh, no, he's still alive. Just don't tell anyone.
Yeah, so he takes the kids, right?
Yeah, he takes fucking kids. Holy shit.
Yeah.
He talks old dude's wife, and let me take your daughter to identify the body, basically.
Yeah.
Really
weird.
Yeah. It's like the whole Albert Fish taking fucking goddamn little girl fucking
Grace Budd.
Yeah, great. Yeah, how you gonna let this motherfucker just take your kid?
Right. And Joey, what is the deal he winds up doing with the kids? And he's moving them around. He winds up, doing all sorts of heinous shit.
Well, fucking after collecting the insurance payout, based on the corpse, like you said, he goes to the fucking wife. Fucking cons her out of her shit, trying to manipulate it, and then he talks her into allowing she has 5 children. She allows 3 of them to go with H.H. Holmes.
Right.
And fucking
crazy.
Yeah, the 3. There were 2 girls, Alice and Nellie, and then a boy, Howard. But so they're placed in his custody. The same. I guess this is even worse. But I was gonna say fucking Albert Fish. The parents let the fucking Grace Budd go off on a fucking thing with him to a party or whatever.
Right,
but anyway.
But she's letting them take these kids across the country, not just the other side of town and shit.
Yeah, to identify the body or something.
They go all through the northern part of the United States plus Canada, fucking dipping in and out of Canada like he does, and fucking he simultaneously escorts Miss Pritzel along a parallel route. All the while, he's using different aliases and lying to Miss Pritzel concerning her husband's death, and then he's trying to lie also about the true whereabouts of her 3 missing children, and then supposedly he was in Detroit just before they were going into Canada, and they were separated by a few blocks and shit, and that was the last that he had seen of them, but I don't know if anything was ever fucking concluded to what really happened. The children.
No, I mean like you said, he winds up killing the girls. I think I read something where he put them in a trunk
and buried them in somebody's basement.
Or no, he put gas into the trunk and gassed them.
Yeah.
And then the boy, I know that they found parts of him in the flue of a furnace, which is fucked up.
He fucking. Well, there's that whole story about the fucking oven thing, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, you could see where these little details.
Yeah. Right.
So this detective, though, finally gets on the case. Frank Geyer, a guy from Philadelphia.
I wonder if he's related to Nate.
I went to school with a Geyer as well. Spelled differently, though. He's hot on the trail of Holmes. He uncovers literally the decomposing bodies of the 2 girls in the cellar of the house in Toronto. And as they dug, they found a human forearm, and they knew that they had finally gotten this motherfucker. Pretty amazing, Chris. And then Geyer goes to Indianapolis, and that's where he finds Howard.
Yeah, and that fucking fire flue. There's bone fragments and fucking teeth because they don't burn like everything else.
Right.
So he's he was there at the fucking drugstore and shit, and the fucking kid. So yeah, that's basically how he found Geyer.
Yeah, they're able to
or
figure out
not
he
Geyer,
was,
but-
renting that house at that time, and there's the body. So they're Geyer is on the fucking case, and he's fucking figuring this shit out. And
you know, like, didn't like they find the girls in the fucking box though, and the one girl had was born with like a club foot, and
I think you're right.
Had cut the feet off of her to help stop identification and shit.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Remember that with fucking Burke and Hare, where they had fucking, what was his name? You know who I'm talking about, with the club foot or whatever.
I can't.
And then he was cutting off. They're cutting off the pieces or whatever, so they couldn't say it was him.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah,
Daft
yeah.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
Or
Daft
Jamie.
Jimmy, yeah.
Jamie.
Jamie.
Yeah,
Daft
Daft
Jamie.
Jamie. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So so they're on. They're figuring
this
this
is
shit
after
out.
Burke and Hare, right? Or is it the same time?
No,
period?
this is after Burke and Hare. It was
Yeah.
1820s.
Motherfuckers. They're like looking at this story like, know what we can do? We can make H.H. Holmes look like this guy.
So Joey Holmes is finally arrested on November 17th, 1894 in your beloved Boston.
Yeah, there was some pretty famous private investigators called the Pinkertons.
Yeah.
And they were the ones that actually tracked him down. And it was not very fucking, nothing crazy happened. Like, he didn't fucking go out with a shootout with him or
Right.
nothing
No
like that, but-
Babyface Nelson shit.
Right.
No,
Speaking
but
of
they
the
did.
gangsters, Babyface Nelson is my favorite gangster of all time. I can't even wait to do that
Hell yeah.
shit. I just watched something about him. He's a fucking madman, yeah.
That's what's up.
But yeah, I mean, he goes quietly, but yeah, they wind up finally getting his ass in Boston. But too bad there wasn't like CCTV or something where you could see it.
Oh,
you know?
right.
Despite everything we've been made to believe, no evidence found in the building in Chicago that they dubbed the murder castle. But the fucking public came in and tore the place to shreds for souvenirs.
I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah, and it burned down, so it was pretty much torn to bits. And so there was a lot of stories that were generated, but to me, as a fan of true crime, it was almost like a kid finding out there's no Santa Claus, man. It's like there can't
Hey,
be
any
no
of y'all
murder
that still
castle.
believe in Santa Claus probably shouldn't be listening to this.
That's right. That's right. So I'm just amazed that seasoned true crime authors like Harold Schechter and documentarians like John Borowski, who really pay close attention to detail, were duped on this thing. I think everybody was. Or they were just looking to make some money. I mean, I'm not trying to throw either under the bus. We've both had them on as guests on the show, and I'm not
Right.
trying to say anybody intentionally was doing anything wrong, but it definitely makes you wonder, like, collectively, like, why wasn't that
Why wasn't
stuff
this known before?
Yeah, because you're kind of perpetuating the myth when you're putting it in a book, and that's meant to read like a true crime book,
Right.
not a fictional story like Devil in the White City. That's all I'm saying. So, and Harold Schechter was a college professor. He's retired now, but I mean, very well regarded guy in his field. So I'm surprised. But what do you guys think about that? Am I off base with that, or do you agree?
I mean, I feel like that if you fucking knew shit different and you're coming to the end of your book, maybe you should like change the end of your book a little bit. Be like,
Right. I agree. Maybe he should have added a chapter and said,
Right.
that a lot of that stuff
But
he later found.
I'm not
was-
an author, so I can't say shit. I'm not a professor.
You are an author. You were
Oh yeah,
published.
I've been published once. I'm not a professor. I didn't finish high school.
Yeah, but Joey, what about you, man? How do you want to weigh in on that?
I mean, I don't think I'm ever going to be one to tell anybody how to write what they write.
Exactly.
but
Yeah.
I think it would be pretty interesting, and I would be somebody that would fucking read it if somebody put out a book of of a bunch of killers and just told all the ridiculous shit about them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, let me hear all the shit that people say, even if it's not true. I want to hear the most glamorized, fucking crazy version of these killers. Like, I want to know that fucking Otis Toole killed Adam Walsh.
Right,
you know?
right.
Yeah, tell me
like
that
okay, that
story.
shit may not. Yeah, that might not be true, but let me hear that, and let me hear the fucking, the ways that you can link it to this person, just so I can have some fun with it in my own mind, I guess.
Right.
So that's a pretty cool idea if somebody would have the time, to fucking put into that.
That would be interesting.
Like the urban legends of true serial killers or
Right,
something like
right.
that,
Right.
That'd be fucking pretty sweet.
Yeah,
actually,
no, I think that's a cool idea for sure. So, October 1895, H.H. Holmes is put on trial for the murder of Benjamin Peitzel. That was the one murder they had plenty of evidence to nail his ass for. He's found guilty, sentenced to death by hanging. It was believed that he killed 9 in total, and in his autobiography, he claims he killed 27. But that autobiography, which is called Holmes's Own Story, was considered to be a complete load of bullshit. Lots of exaggeration. But I was amazed, guys. He was paid to write that in prison, $7,500 by the Hearst newspapers, and I did the math, and that's worth $266,000 in today's money. That's
Motherfucker's
pretty good
commissary
jack.
is tight.
Wow. I mean, yeah, he's got fucking buying cigarettes for the whole fucking cell
Fucking
block
right
there.
he is.
he better to blow that money, because back then you're going to get fucking executed a lot quicker.
Oh, yeah. They put him to death, a year later. So May 7th, 1896, he's hanged at Moyamensing Prison in Philadelphia.
Oh, man.
Witnesses say he was calm leading up to the execution and told the hangman, quote, "I'm not in a hurry."
You
So,
go ahead and take your time,
yeah,
buddy.
do it.
We're good.
Not like fucking Panzram that fucking spit in the guy's face and told him to hurry the
Right,
fuck up. So
Or
little bit different. Holmes is more of a gentleman, I guess.
Or, shit, why can't I think of his name? Got fucking the guillotine. He's like, I can't wait for my head. Am I going to be able? Who the fuck was
The
that?
vampire of Dusseldorf,
Yeah,
Peter Curtin.
Peter Curtin, that's it, yeah.
Yeah, right. So he fell 5 feet, but his neck didn't break. So he twisted for 15 minutes until he was pronounced dead.
Just like
That's pretty brutal,
season
man.
up, like, not season, but just like
Yeah, that's
15
pretty
minutes of
rough.
just like done.
So kind of a fitting end to a piece of shit like that, that's for sure. Now, Chris, I heard Holmes wanted his coffin to be encased in concrete and buried 15 feet or 10 feet down.
I basically because he didn't want people fucking with his body, which is fucked up.
Right.
Because he's out here selling corpses or skeletons
Right.
or whatever.
Well, he knows what they do, so
Right.
he didn't want to be one
I
of
just
those.
straight up been like, you know what? Fuck you. Who wants this motherfucker?
Right.
Like,
Right.
come on, take him.
So they wind up putting him in an unmarked grave in Holy Cross Cemetery, which is a Catholic graveyard outside of Philadelphia. Interestingly, in 1914, the man who was the caretaker of the castle, Patrick Quinlan, committed suicide by ingesting strychnine. His family said he was tormented and was unable to sleep. And actually, his suicide note was just, "I can't sleep."
I remember
It's
seeing
really
that,
sad. So any possible knowledge of any nefarious shit definitely died with him, because Holmes is already gone. So, as I mentioned earlier, the building was gutted by a fire and became a post office. So it really changed, its look and all that. Joey, in 2017, there was a TV that we discussed, American Ripper. But I don't know, did you watch any of that?
No, but I saw what they were talking about, and I remember they were talking about when they were going to exhume the body.
Yeah.
Because suppose there was all these fucking rumors going around. It's like, oh well, he was never really actually executed.
Right.
He was actually still alive, and that's also the stuff of boogeyman's. I think that was, but it was enough of a theory that they actually did get the okay to exhume the body, which they did.
Yeah.
They found the body inside. They did the DNA test and proved that it was his remains that were in there. So.
Yeah, did you see that because he was encased in concrete, the body was so well preserved
right.
that the mustache was still intact?
Hell yeah.
That's
I
pretty
didn't see
fucking
that, but
crazy.
that's fucking hilarious.
Isn't it? Yeah, it's like, oh, that's the
Yeah.
mustache.
Damn, we definitely should have gotten a fucking zombie Holmes then.
Yeah, so
They're
I
like,
thought that was
okay,
cool.
we don't even have to do a DNA test. We see
Yeah,
the lust
yeah,
we
he's got
see
the
that
cool stash,
fucking
man.
fuck.
Maybe that's what he was doing with the women, doing a little,
fucking-
tongue work. He's got the stash happening. So yeah, that must have been it, because he had to be doing something to get these women to just fucking give him their property, in other states. But yeah, I did think that was interesting. But yeah, DNA said, yep, it's him. And so that put an end to that. Now, there have been many books written about Holmes. The first one I mentioned was 1994, Depraved, which I'm amazed it took that long, by Harold Schechter. And there were some fictional novels written that were based on that character. I mentioned Devil in the White City by Eric Larson, which is fantastic. And I wonder, now knowing that the Murder Castle stuff was really exaggerated, I wonder if that's why nobody wrote about him, because they thought it was kind of a bust, what they claimed happened. So I thought it was interesting that here, almost basically 100 years later, Harold Schechter's writing a book about him and using that exaggerated version of the story. I just find the whole thing very fascinating, especially since I took that as the gospel
truth, yeah.
So very interesting, but there's a lot of stuff out there. And, they've been talking about it for years, that they were going to turn Devil in the White City into a movie. I heard Scorsese was involved, and I heard different actors that were going to be involved. And I've heard maybe a mini series. I heard Keanu Reeves was possibly going to play the role of because in the book it goes chapter for chapter, Holmes and then the developer that created the World's Fair.
Oh, right.
The guy that designed the whole thing.
Right.
Him. So I think Keanu Reeves plays that character. That's what I had heard, but I don't know if anything's really being done, and I wonder if maybe some of that is because of the fact that this has been somewhat debunked. Almost seems like, you really going to do a movie based on the sensational version? Because if you're not, it's not going to be that exciting, You
got to do the fucking
the
story that everybody.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering, if that's what the holdup is with this whole thing. But very interesting nonetheless. The book, John Borowski did a documentary, also published a book. It's called The Strange Case of Dr. H.H. Holmes, which has the autobiography that Holmes wrote, plus a piece written by the detective, Frank Geyer, and the confession that Holmes made. That's all in that book. I've got it. The documentary is excellent. But again, knowing the truth of the castle, some of it is part of that whole fictionalized version of it. But guys, anything to add to this? H.H. Holmes is an iconic figure, and I knew we were going to do it upright, and I'm glad we put the work in to find out that some of these details were off, because I would have felt like an idiot if we would have done it hook, line, and sinker with what we had thought was true, and then
And then
later found out we were totally wrong.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't have anything else to add to this.
I guess what I would say on the subject is that, you hear something one way and then it turns out not to be exactly that way, and it's kind of a little bit of a bummer, but it's good to get the story correct and shit. But the reality is that there's still always that tiny possibility that he may have done some of the weird shit. You got fucking, we're talking Joe Ball and the fucking Killer Cage match, but the real Joe Ball, that's the whole thing, is like, he probably never fed anybody to the gators down there, but that's the story that came out that made it what it was.
Right.
And if you look at all the fucking scientific evidence and shit, nothing ever says that he ever did that.
Right.
But there's nothing saying that he wasn't fucked up enough that one night he really did feed, saying, that he did feed somebody. And the same thing, if you look at this story, a lot of the stuff about H.H. Holmes might have been debunked, but there's nothing saying that he didn't have somebody in there that he was going to fucking kill and torment, and they were in fear running through those fucking labyrinth of fucking rooms. And, maybe it wasn't like they were saying fully, but maybe there was something to it.
It's very
that
possible.
might have been real.
It's very possible. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yep.
So I did my research by reading that book. I mentioned Harold Schechter's book Depraved, John Borowski's documentary. The Casual Criminalist is the episode I saw on YouTube. I really like his podcast and his videos. And that's where I first learned about the discrepancies. But I corroborated it with another documentary about Holmes and the article in the Smithsonian Magazine from 2021. And like I said, even Wikipedia's got it right. So it's all out there. We're going to take next week off. We're actually going to take a week. It's going to be a bonus episode for you.
Sir.
I'm going to put an interview we did with Dr. Catherine Ramsland out that was previously only Patreon, but it's very good. Of course, Catherine Ramsland is a huge name in true crime. So that'll be the episode for this next week. Which would be the first week of January of 2023. But when we come back,
Oh, man.
we're going to come back swinging, guys, because we're going to be doing
Fuck yeah.
the UK case.
Acid bath, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Not the band, but.
Acid Bath Murderer, old John Hay. It's a good one. He's been on the list since we started this podcast. And we've talked about him, and it came up here recently, and Chris is like, man, we need to do the Acid Bath Murderer.
Right.
I'm like, fuck yeah, we do. Let's make it our first one of the year. So it is. But next week's a bonus. You'll get that Acid Bath Murderer the week after that. All right, Joey, any good page of days for us?
I do. This is the last of this year's, but not really, because I might have a page or two from the end of it for next time we do it. Anyway.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I got the next page a day.
Right, but the page a day
fucking
might be
book.
from the end of 2022 calendar.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
But regardless, this is our year end. So for you guys enjoying our year end episode, thank you guys for listening. And I only got two. One of them's a little bit fucking more detailed. But this first one, I wasn't even going to say that. I wasn't even going to tell this one. But something about it is kind of weird, and I thought you guys would fucking kind of think it was wild too. But John Fontaine was known for her stunning performances in Hollywood's Golden Age films, and she was in Alfred Hitchcock's 41 movie Suspicion. She won an Academy Award for that, and then after her death in 2013, Fontaine's estate attempted to auction off her Academy Award along with a number of her other possessions. And everything that they were going to get from this, they were going to use to benefit the Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals.
Right.
But the Academy threatened legal action because since 1950, the Academy has had a rule that anyone selling a statuette must first offer to sell it back to them for $1.
Oh,
Get
wow.
So
the
Fontaine,
fuck out of here.
so Fontaine's award, which is estimated to earn $200,000 to $300,000 for the animal welfare program,
Right.
was pulled from the auction at the last minute.
That's fucking
That's
crazy.
that's wild. I never knew that.
Yeah,
you know,
that's fucked
like
up.
And why-
nope, you gotta sell that back to
Right.
And
us.
why wouldn't the motherfucking Academy be like, oh yeah, let's fucking sell it, fucking go help these fucking...
Yeah,
Yeah, that's fucking crazy as shit, dude.
yeah, that's super fucking bogus. So okay, so the second one I got, this one's pretty fucking good. And I never heard this case either, but thanks again, Page a Day. Fucking always need a good fucking story. But this one is, it's about the Corpsewood Manor murders. So
Corpsewood
there's
Manor.
this guy, Corpsewood
Like,
Manor murders.
So there's murders, but it's already called Corpsewood.
Yeah, because there's actually trees called Corpsewood
Right,
trees,
yeah, I know,
believe.
but I think it's
Yeah.
fucking...
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a cool
pretty
name.
badass. Yeah. So anyway, so Dr. Charles L. Scudder and his partner Joey Odom, they left their rundown mansion in Chicago in 1976 for a simpler life. They purchased a plot of land on the Chattahoochee National Forest in Chattooga County, Georgia, and they built a home with none of the amenities. They didn't have electricity, they didn't have phone, they didn't have television, none of that shit. They laid the bricks themselves, and they created a home and a 3-story outbuilding, which was a chicken coop. So Odom, he cooked gourmet meals in a wood stove using vegetables from the garden. Scudder, he made wine using grapes from their own vineyard, and they allowed the locals to hunt on their land, and they hosted guests in the chicken coop, and they even held a wedding in their rose garden one time.
Okay.
They named their home Corpsewood Manor after all the trees that were on the property, of course. Cool. It was idyllic, but unsurprisingly, of course, there was challenges to them being a gay couple in a rural Georgia in the 1970s and 80s. And Scudder, he had particularly eccentric interests, and he was a member of the Church of Satan. So the sheriff, he tried to bring charges against both the men for their odd behavior, but Scudder's position as a Satanist actually protected him because of his freedom of religion. But of course, that protection only goes so far.
Right.
Odom became famous in the area for his cooking, and locals often stopped by to marvel at the progress of the castle-like structure, because the whole time they're living there, they're fucking adding to it and shit. And plus Scudder's homemade wine, people were loving that shit. So despite the positive relationships and the fact that Odom was a devout Catholic, the two of them became known in the area as the homosexual devil worshippers. So on December 12th, 1982, Tony West and his nephew, Avery Brock, they're making their way out to Corpsewood Manor with a young couple, Joey Wells and Teresa Hudgens, who were teenagers who were actually just on a date and fucking cruising around with these dudes. Scudder, he had spent most of his... or they were trying to go rob these guys is what they were doing, and this was basically just Brock because he had visited the manor before, but what they didn't know is that Scudder, even though it appeared that they were living fucking so lavishly, he spent most of his life's earnings on the property in the first place, and the two of them lived off just over $100 a month, which was mostly from a small inheritance of Scudder. So they didn't actually have fucking all this money or
they're just
anything
straight
like
living off the land for real.
Right. But Brock and West, they believe they're going to find a fortune in this place, so they go out there. They arrive unannounced. Scudder welcomes them and escorts them all to the Pink Room, which this is the third floor of the chicken coop that they have outside, and this is like, I guess, where people go and chill, probably drinking the wine and all that, which, of course, that's what he does. Scudder offers them some of his wine, but they don't even partake because they're doing what they call toodaloo, which is paint thinner and glue. They're fucking huffing this shit. They're all getting fucked up.
Wow.
They're like, we don't need your wine. We got this toodaloo. So they're all huffing that. And then West, he was the only one that was in on what was about to happen. But him and Brock, they had this shit planned out. So Brock excuses himself to go get some more toodaloo from the car. When he returns to the Pink Room, he's got a gun. He points it at Scudder, who says bang bang because he thinks it's all just a fucking joke.
Right.
But, this dude fucking pulls a gun. Wells and Hudgens, the teenagers that are with him, they try to flee the scene in West's car, but it wouldn't start. So he fucking calls them back into the Pink Room, and they find Brock holding a knife to Scudder's neck, demanding that Scudder tell him where the money was. Brock then binds Scudder with a bedsheet, goes into the main house. He finds Odom, shoots and kills him, and the couple's two beloved English Mastiffs.
Damn.
He comes back to the...
Don't kill the
he
dogs.
comes back... Yeah, he killed the fucking dogs. He comes back to the Pink Room one last time, and the whole group, he grabs them, he fucking brings them back in the house. So Scudder sees Odom's body. He's overcome with grief, and his last words before he was shot repeatedly were, "I asked for this." So Brock and West, they ransack the house. They steal... they're trying to steal all this shit, and they try to steal... Scudder had this big badass harp, but they couldn't fit it into the vehicle, so they didn't end up stealing that.
Wow.
But they did steal the couple's Jeep, and they fled westward. On December 15th, they stopped at a rest stop in Mississippi and stole a car from a Navy lieutenant named Kirby Key Phelps, and they murdered him in the process.
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
December 16th, a neighbor of the couple in Georgia, Ray Williams, he goes to Corpsewood Manor to inform Scudder and Odom that another friend of theirs in Rome, Georgia had passed away. He sees bullet holes in the door, walks down the mountain, calls the sheriff's office. The same day that's going on, Teresa Hudgens, the teen girl that was out on the date, she comes forward to police claiming she can't come to them, that she couldn't come to them earlier because Joey Wells had been holding her hostage. So Hudgens and Wells cooperate fully with the investigation. Neither were ever charged with a crime. But a nationwide hunt for Brock and West ensued. The two of them split up in Austin, Texas, after an argument about what they should do. Brock turns himself in on December 20th in Marietta, Georgia, and West was captured in Chattanooga, Tennessee 4 days later on Christmas Eve. Brock pleads guilty to the murders and received 3 consecutive life sentences. West pleaded not guilty and went to trial. His trial was sensational, partly because of what investigators found at Corpsewood Manor whenever they went through the place.
Right.
None of it had to do with the actual crimes, but they did find 2 human skulls, vials of old laboratory LSD, occult tools, gay porn, and a library of occult books mixed in with mostly academic and literary titles, and that drew a lot of attention down there, of course.
Oh, I'm sure.
Also, there was a self-portrait that Scudder had painted months earlier that depicted himself gagged with blood dripping from 5 bullet wounds in his head, so that's pretty fucked up.
Yeah, it is. Holy shit, dude.
Wow.
So they had broad and eclectic tastes, and they were living their best life in their dream home, apparently.
Wow.
Now, West used the defense that the LSD had been what caused an involuntary intoxication, and he said that Scudder had drugged the wine and that he had a motive because he was a homosexual, but West had already confessed before that he and Brock had planned to murder and the robbery days before they ever even committed them, so fucking he was basically fucked anyway. Wow. But he also claimed that Brock wanted to kill Scudder because of an alleged that the two had a sexual encounter before. And West was found guilty, sentenced to death. He was retried due to a jury technicality and received 3 consecutive life sentences also.
Jesus.
So the last thing I got on this is Charles Scudder in his own words, and he was talking about Corpsewood Manor, and this was in an edition of 1981 edition of Mother Earth News, and he said, "It's not necessary, you see, to keep piling up the bucks and plodding away at the treadmill until the last crippling coronary takes away your freedom of choice. If we want a different, fuller, more exciting life than we're leading, one closer to this beautiful earth, we can have it. Our only chains are those in our minds. Just promise me that you'll think about it seriously for a while. After all, wouldn't you like to live in your own kind of castle in the country?" So, hell yeah.
Interesting.
Damn.
Yeah, that's a fucked up story.
That is a very fucked up story. God damn.
Wow.
Corpsewood Manor murders.
Page
so
a
thank
day.
you, Page a Day. Hell yeah.
Page a Day has been good to us, and looking forward to 2023 with
Definitely
some new Page
looking
a
forward to
Days.
2023.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, guys, I think we have done our fair share of murder tonight. I think it is time to crank up the metal. So, Joey, what the fuck do we need to do?
Oh shit, fellas, let's get our
CK
metal
has
on!
He's not done educating the masses. CK will forever be the great metal motherfucker. We're here to stomp poser ass and eradicate the planet of their kind. CK has passed the torch to us, and we will forge the fuck on. In CK's name, we will bestow metal knowledge upon all of you.
All right. We are in the metal segment. And
Great metal motherfucker.
always great metal motherfuckers leading the way. He's behind us in the CCK version with a Santa hat on because it's the holiday season and he's celebrating it with us. And we are doing this year-end countdown here of our favorite metal albums of the year. And Chris, you were going to go first.
Yeah, I was going to go first. Like I was saying to you guys earlier, no order or anything, just a few fucking albums came out this year that I think were fucking pretty badass. I'm just going to read them off real quick.
And we're eating Pop-Tarts,
I'm going
too.
to go quick. I didn't grab any this time.
Oh, you
Shit. Fuck, I forgot all about that.
Oh, wow.
God damn you, Shawback.
God damn it.
That's why the power went out.
That's
You
why
didn't
the
have a
power went out,
Pop-Tart.
right? But yeah, so
CCK is pissed.
That's right.
Yes, he is. So fucking one of the albums I fucking picked out for my little short list is fucking September 9th this year came out was Revocation's fucking Nether Heaven. Fucking
Those guys are badass.
Yeah, good ass fucking heavy ass shit. Fucking in 2000 22, obviously. Fucking October 21st was fucking Exhumed released fucking To the Death. Fucking always love Exhumed. They're fucking dope shit. September 30th, fucking band that fucking first time I ever heard, we saw at fucking FTA, motherfucking, that's fucking badass live, fucking Escula Grind, fucking Memory Theater, fucking, those fucking motherfuckers are just insane. If you don't know Escula Grind, check them motherfuckers out for sure. And then on May 13th this year, fucking always fucking badass shit, fucking Misery Index came out with complete.
I like that Misery Index.
Yeah, fucking Complete Control, fucking Misery Index is always puts out top notch fucking shit. And then the last one I got from my little list here is fucking January 14th is fucking Fit for an Autopsy's on What the Future Holds.
Hell yeah.
So,
great album.
Yeah, so fucking those are the fucking ones I came up with on my list. Those are fucking badass bands, badass new albums this year. Fucking and like I said, like the biggest one on my list on this little short list I have is that Escula Grind. Those motherfuckers just kill shit, dude.
Very cool.
So, yeah, hell yeah.
All right, excellent. Joey, what about you?
I got caught with a Pop-Tart in my mouth.
Fucking hey, dude. Hey, the first thing you have caught in your mouth.
We always eat Pop-Tarts in the metal segment. It's our tradition. So if you're listening for the first time, you're like, why are these guys eating and talking on microphones? It's because it's fun.
Because we can.
And we get hungry about halfway through the show. So
I got the chocolate
snack.
fudge ones.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. I still have the gingerbread. That's what I'm eating. Fucking still Noel style.
Right.
I'll tell you what,
Jeff
Chris,
just walked in the door, Cashman.
Oh, yeah. But you be hating, though, Chris. Fucking the first thing I was eating in this segment before I was eating the Pop-Tarts, the fucking Stephanie's dad's bow hunter, but he fucking got him a deer, and I got all this fucking venison over here.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Fucking deer jerky. Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Anyway,
Fuck yeah.
So here's my list. I don't know. I think there's like 10 bands on here. There's no order to it either. Just ones that I fucking loved.
Right.
Sigil, Salvation Within Insanity, fucking dope ass album. Fucking from Texas, Stabbing, Extirpated Mortal
Fuck
Process,
yeah, dude.
fucking huge album. Fucking that's their debut full length too. Coming from over in Scotland, Party Cannon, Volumes of Vomit, fucking great album. Anal Stab Wound, Reality Drips into the Mouth of Indifference, fucking crazy one-man shit from overseas. Pediatrician, Postpartum Depression, amazing album. Fucking The Boys from Chattanooga, Tennessee, Coat Hanger Abortion with Plan C.
Yes,
that
sir.
fucking's great. Fucking grab that one. From Texas, again, Desecrate the Faith with their album 3, their third full length.
Why would they call it 3
from,
if it's their third one?
Right. My boy from fucking up in Michigan, Brian Forg, his band Syphilic, his newest album, Injustice for None, that came out this year. 2 last ones, my boys from the Quad Cities, Crotch Ripper, Trolls vs. Lizards.
Fuck yeah, dude. Oh,
awesome
yeah,
album.
dude, bro. I didn't even think
Fucking
about
great
that shit.
album. And then the last one that I'm going to say, and probably one of my favorites of the year for sure, was Immolation with Acts of God. Fucking great album.
Hell yeah, man.
Dude. Brutal. I knew you would be bringing the brutality to that fucking list tonight. My list is, I went with all bigger label bands. I went with all indie type bands. So my list, I'll go run through them. I got 10, but I'm going to make it quick. Miscreants, love those guys. The album Convergence, those guys are from Italy. Also, ironically, only one U.S. band made my top 10.
No shit.
Yeah, so Miscreants, the album Convergence, that's my number 10. High Command, this is a band I just recently stumbled on. Their album called Eclipse of the Dual Moons. They're out of the U.S. and Massachusetts. Asylum, a killer thrash band from Australia with their album Tyrannicide. Number 7, Deatherus, a great death metal band from Canada called Unrelenting Violence, very badass. Number 6, Traitor, another thrash band. These guys are out of Germany with their album Exile to the Surface. Number 5, Immortal Possession, the Resurrectionist, great
I've been actually
death metal.
jamming that at work the past few days, honestly.
Really, really good,
Yeah.
man. A CDN band. So I got 2 CDN bands in my top 10. Number 4, another CDN, or 3 CDN bands. 4, Howler, Descendants of Evil. Those guys are from Costa Rica, really good. Number 3, Battlegrave, another Australian band, some death, some thrash in there, but a lot of death. Number 2, Schizophrenia, Recollections of the Insane, really wicked, band from Belgium, really love that album. And my number 1, Corrosive, Toxic Apocalypse from Canada, another CDN band.
Yeah.
So 3 CDN Records bands in my top 10. I got a couple honorable mentions. Annihilation Process from Minneapolis with their EP Sickening Madness, and another EP from Byzantine, however you want to say that. Black Sea Codex, another U.S. band from West Virginia. So
Hell yeah, dude.
yeah, I put a lot of thought in this one, but High Command was a band I never even heard of before, and I was reading someone else's list, and I was like, wow, who's that? And I checked them out and was just completely floored. Really, really good band. So, all right, well, there's our top
That's our
list
fucking
of the
list
year.
of fucking bands for the year, man.
Oh,
Guys,
yeah.
And if any of you guys out there listening, you got fucking any kind
Got
of
your
list.
homework.
Yeah, you got your homework, and if you got a list, throw it on
Yeah.
the fucking website.
We'd
Throw
love
it on
to
our
hear
shit.
it.
Fucking
Yeah,
like
did
to
we
see what
leave
you got.
somebody out that
Yeah.
you think should have
Throw
been
that
on
out there, man, for real.
So I know there were some bigger bands, Megadeth, there were some good albums that came out this year from the bigger bands, but I just wanted to devote my list to the underground and the indie type bands. So, all right, well, bands, if you're listening and you want to be a part of this, you can send us what you got to me at pete@murdermetalmayhem.com. There's no guarantee we'll play it, but we'll give it a
check it
listen.
out.
We'll check it out.
We
I've had a
obviously-
couple contact me.
Right? We obviously like metal, so fuck.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be all total extreme. I mean, we'll go to, I tend to listen to, we all have different tastes. So, it may be something I might not like, and I'll forward it to Joey and say, hey, check these guys out. But give it a shot. And if you want to do it old school, you could send it to Murder Metal Mayhem, P.O. Box 554. Hayworth, Illinois 61745, and you want to throw stickers in there, Chris?
I love
They could throw
stickers.
some Pop-Tarts, that's always a winner. We got a whole collection of them over
We
there.
got plenty of Pop-Tarts, but
Yeah.
we could always use more, man.
Hey, that one listener that bought us 3 fucking big-ass boxes or 4 big-ass
Jesus
boxes,
Christ.
drove 3 hours to
Just
come see
check
us.
out at
That
the
was really
convention.
cool.
Fuck yeah.
So that was super cool. All right, and also we got that 666 Club, guys. That's our Patreon supporters. We appreciate you guys that are Patreon supporters. It's only $3 a month, and you can get extra bonus content, the episodes a day early,
Fucking
and all that.
beginning
Discounts
of
on
the
merch.
new year, we are definitely going to have more new shit coming out.
Yeah,
for
we got the new
Patreon.
Murder Metal Mayhem activity book coming
Yeah.
out for 2023, so
So,
that'll be out there.
we'll get her done.
Got T-shirts on the website and everything. You get discounts if you're a 666 Club member, and I'll link to that in the episode description if you want to do that. All right, well, we have done plenty of metal tonight, so Chris, what the fuck do we need to do?
Let's get our mayhem on!
Are you tired of your girl having some nasty, stank-ass pussy? Something that smells like an animal died up in there? Well, fear no more. Thanks to Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance, you can say goodbye to that graveyard-inspired rotten crotch forever.
Yes, my wife's pussy smelled like 10 motherfuckers died up there. But when I applied Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance Cream, it smelled fresh and new.
Give your wife our special Mother's Day Pussy Be New basket with a tube of the maintenance cream, a bottle of our special jizz-absorbent powder to keep the cum crystals down, and a hand towel to wipe that fucker down.
Thanks, Dr. Geen. Her pussy smells so good. I might just cut it off and put it in the shoebox with all the others.
Well, that's a topic for another day, son. Dr. Geen Vagina Maintenance. Buy some today for that rotten crotch pussy you love to hate.
That was some High Command, the band I just found out about, in the song called Fortified by Bloodshed. And before that, some Dr. Gein's Vagina Maintenance.
Like an old school original.
The old school one, a classic for sure. That's always good stuff. Joey, hearing you doing that. We're definitely due.
The original.
The original.
Yeah, I have to do a new one.
Yeah, we definitely got to do some new
like,
commercials.
We got like three of
overdue.
them, right? Of the Dr. Geen.
Yeah, I think we do have three.
Yeah.
Three or
but
four.
Dude, dude, you always do those so classic though, Joey. Fuck.
They're good. They're good. All right. Well, we have got one hell of an event here getting ready to happen.
Tonight is the night.
In Toledo. Joey said the town's been hopping. Fucking, they're selling fucking Joe Ball fucking stuffed
There's so
gators.
many gunshots going on.
They got stuffed Joe Ball gators, and they got fucking
man.
Ole Creole shirts and fucking
got
punky
fucking stuffed
fucking
balls.
do-rags, you know. They're selling all kinds of shit. And it's getting crazy there in the 419,
Getting
so
pretty
I'm
gangster.
anxious to do this. So
Oh, yeah.
we're going to cut live
Go
to
to that
that
fucking
event.
event
So
right now.
Here we go. Wow, Chris, this is quite the extravaganza. There's a lot of
This
fucking
crowd
people
tonight.
here.
Look
man.
at this crowd tonight. This should be a fucking interesting evening, Pete. Fuck.
Man, got the
Yeah.
Hutchinson Center just rocking, man.
Yeah, goddamn, dude. Everybody's getting crazy out there. They're just waiting for this matchup, waiting for these fighters to come out. Let's see.
Yeah, this is going to be good, man. And oh shit, look, it looks like Punky's got the police bringing him in. Like,
Oh
what
man,
the
after
hell?
after them annex with that gun last week, I can only imagine.
I
Holy
heard,
shit, dude.
I heard he's been in county.
Oh,
they
shit,
they
look
just
at
let
this
him out just
crowd,
for the
y'all.
fight
Just
tonight.
know
He's only here for the fight, so
Yeah.
we'll see what happens with that. Holy shit.
It's pretty crazy. So this is going to be a good one, and it looks like Old Creole's out there.
Get them gators on
Joe Ball's got a gator under each arm, man. He's looking pretty scary.
Always got them gators with him.
I'm gonna go get
Yeah,
my gators.
Pierre Poutine.
Motherfuckers don't want
I've
that.
never
I told you that
actually seen him,
before.
up close last
No,
week.
Come chop your ass,
Good looking.
motherfuckers.
He's not going to be waving that Canadian
here
flag.
to
though.
Putin
God
out the
damn,
419.
proud.
Yeah, he's definitely fired up.
I am
Everybody
ready
looks
to
fired
show
up.
up for 19. What the PP slap to the face is all about.
Oh shit, here we go with this motherfucker. Old butthole. Old butthole in the 419. It's like 30 degrees negative right now. Yo, redneck country ass down south, you can't even pass. Take your ass back to your redneck ass city, boy.
Oh, hell no.
All right, looks like things are getting started here,
That match
man.
has begun, and look
Wow.
at fucking Creole and Punky just going at it.
Oh,
This is
man.
fucking hand-to-hand combat for real.
Holy shit, dude. Old Creole is a little more mobile than I thought he
Right,
would
he's
be.
got more agility than I thought he would have. But they're
Punky
coming out
scrapping,
there.
man.
He's got them street skills, you know what I mean? He's,
Hell yeah.
he's from the street.
Oh, yeah.
Going at it. Oh shit.
Oh, shit. He's tapping out to Joe Ball's
Fuck,
coming
here
in.
comes Joe Ball. Here we go.
Oh, man, with the Gators.
God
Holy
damn.
shit. Wow.
Fuck,
Holy
man.
shit. Punky better tap out the fucking Pierre, man. He's just beat
He's
up.
fucking waiting on the side, man. He's waiting on the side. All right,
Take me
here he
in,
comes,
take
here he
me
comes.
in.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Pierre
bitch.
comes
You like
in.
that shit?
Wow.
I'm battle prone, dude.
Ah,
Doing the
stab it.
PP smack to the
I'll
face
PP
with
smack
Joe
you with the
Ball. This
next
is
year.
pretty fucking
That's a big pee-pee.
Oh, man.
Fucking battle.
Wow. So now somehow Punky's back in there. And Joe Ball looks like he's getting up on Punky. He's good.
Now Joe Ball's getting up in there. Oh, wait, what's he doing?
Oh,
no
hell
way.
Joe
He's
Ball,
checking
man.
the
What the
oil.
fuck are they doing?
Poor Punky, what the fuck?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Wow.
God.
Punky's fucking swinging, though, man. This is getting interesting.
Oh, shit, what's that? What's that coming over there?
Oh, no.
Holy shit. who
Holy
is that?
shit! Is that Sick Ripper? Fuck! Yeah! Y'all motherfuckers didn't even see that coming. That was a twist like M. Night Shyamalan. No, I'm talking about twisted twisters and twisted sister twist, y'all. You ain't even seen it coming. All these motherfuckers knocked out. Sick Ripper's your motherfucking champ. Yeah!
Well, for Christ's sake, I would have never figured this shit out.
Holy shit, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That came out of nowhere. Sick Ripper
Wow.
coming out of nowhere. Tagging on his motherfucking own label fucking guy.
Yeah,
What the
everybody's
hell?
down. Sick Ripper's the
Sick
last
Ripper
one.
just comes out there, fucking chairs a-blazing, just fucking murdering.
Wow. Toledo tonight was burned to the ground.
Yes,
Sick
it did.
Ripper.
Well, fucking ladies and gentlemen, we hope you enjoyed this. Fucking
yeah.
Can't wait to do another one.
Yeah, we'll see you next time. Well, Chris, I don't even know what to say about that. I mean,
Goddamn, Joey. What'd you think about that shit?
Fucking ridiculous as hell is what that
God
is.
I
damn.
mean,
no-
I'm not a wrestling fan, but man, seeing Sick Ripper come out there with the fucking chair and just
Out of
knocking people
nowhere.
over, that was crazy.
Nobody expected that shit.
No,
God damn.
I didn't see that coming fucking at all. That shit
No.
blew my mind. Right
Like,
there.
he's especially coming after his fucking label owner, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, he just didn't give a fuck. So Sick
I wonder
Ripper-
if we're going to see some diss tracks in the future.
Oh, shit.
I bet.
Oh, shit.
And, you know, that kind of sets the table for another match. You know, one of those other 4 guys wants to fight fucking Sick Ripper. I mean, I'm sure
man.
somebody's going to want to fight him.
Oh,
so.
man. You can only imagine if somebody's going to want to fight Sick Ripper.
Yeah, so that should be good. But that was
was a good time,
definitely,
though.
that was a good one. That was a good one. All right, now you want to check out my writing. Some people dig that kind of horror type stuff.
Well, horror top novels.
I got short story collections. I got novels. I got sick, disturbing literature for your palette, if that's what you like. PeteAltieri.com. I'll link to that in the episode description. And you can pick up one of my books. I got a bookstore there. You can buy our merch. You can buy Murder Metal Mayhem merch in the same store because the Murder Metal Mayhem page, murdermetalmayhem.com, links to the same web store, and you can buy whichever merch you want while you're there. And you can even join the 666 Club for 25% off if you do it
Shit,
through the
yeah,
website.
you can. Go get her done. Check
Yeah.
out our website. Like, Pete put this shit together himself, and the shit's tight as fuck.
Yeah,
really.
it turned out better than I thought. I mean, the templates they have nowadays make it pretty easy. So my prior web time, all the stuff I did with
Right.
low 12 and heavy core, it definitely helped. But these new templates
Right, and
make it like
technology,
ridiculously easy.
technology today is way better, and you
Yeah.
got so much to work with it. Yeah, the website turned out amazing.
Cool,
So go
well,
check
thank
that
you.
shit out.
Yeah. The YouTube channel, we got videos on there, posting new videos when
Did
we
we
can.
record tonight?
No, I didn't record anything
right.
tonight, but we recorded that great Peter Woodcock segment
Peter
with
Woodcock.
Shane.
Hey, this
That
dude's
was
name's
fucking
Peter. Check this
hilarious.
out. It's even funnier. His last name's Woodcock.
And he was born in Peterborough.
He was born in-
Yeah, what the fuck? There's so many dick references in that episode. It's
so
fucking
fucking
ridiculous. So that video, I'm hoping to post that this week because I'm off this week, so I'll be able to get that done.
God damn.
All right. Well, we have done plenty of mayhem tonight, so let's hit that fucking outro. If I was having an ammonia and broken glass enema, that would be the music that should be playing in the background. What the
And
fuck?
to fucking think that's a
chick,
female
man.
vocalist, bro.
That's fucking crazy. That's
God
fucking nuts.
damn.
That was Stabbing, and the song Leishmaniasis. I'm not sure how to say that, Joey. That's that. Leishmaniasis. Okay, all right.
Yeah. That's my favorite song on their brand new album that they put out, which of course that was in my
Yeah,
top.
those guys are from Texas, right? Yeah.
Yep. down in the Houston
Oh,
area.
nice. Well, fuck, that was some brutal shit, that's for sure. Joey, what about the bumper music tonight? Who do we play?
Well, you just heard Stabbing, and we also played Corrosive and High.
Hell yeah. The metal segment intro, Chris, by who?
Always fucking great metal motherfucker, my motherfucking Chrysix.
You know it.
Fuck yeah.
Murder Metal Mayhem intro by Low 12. And thanks to everybody out there listening. We keep seeing the numbers coming in, and we appreciate it, especially around the holidays. You guys taking the time out to give us a listen.
Thanks for your holiday cheer.
Tell your grandma about it. Tell Aunt Mabel,
Right?
fucking whoever the fuck will listen to you. All right, Chris, what about that first listener there?
Comments tonight. Tonight we got Joe Smith, 43. Says, what a crazy year of Murder Metal Mayhem. I love this podcast and thank all of you for making me laugh my ass off at work.
That's cool.
Are you laughing at us or with us?
I'm not sure. And hopefully you're not doing anything, Joe, like surgery or something.
Right.
People
You're
like, really, dude?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You're not doing like fucking
Driving a
arterial fucking work. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah. All right, number 2, Joey. What about that one?
Andrew Johnson, another dick reference.
Was he a president?
commented-
Wasn't he a president?
That was Jackson,
Oh
bro.
yeah, I'm sorry. Close.
Jackson.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Andrew Johnson commented, my girlfriend and I listen to you guys every week from Dallas. We love the show and all the funny voices you guys do. Such a good
Well, thanks,
Fucking
Andrew.
thank you.
That's cool, dude.
We're dumb, but we try.
Ellen DeGarmo comments, I love all the metal you play on this podcast. I've heard about so many bands I didn't know about before. And Joey is right. That new Stabbing album is the shit. So there you go.
There you go, Joey.
Another
Fuck yeah.
person that digs that. All right. And then Chris, love this last one here.
What the fuck? Fucking Ronald McDonald slays the Burger King. Fucking Jesus Christ. Says, this is the best podcast out there on true crime. You guys kill it every week. I'm a listener in Copenhagen, and
Wow.
I'm a huge fan of Killing.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, we did that metal feature on Killing. Love those guys.
Killing's fucking insane. dude.
Yeah, those guys are really good.
We do bands called Killing. We do bands called Stabbing. We do bands.
Pick up a copy of my latest book, Slab of Sickness, Terror on the Tracks. Got a brand new version of the 666 Express on there, which is, of course, a story that involves us as characters in the story.
Yes, sir.
Pretty funny. Chris, you're Mick, and you're passed out on the train.
What am I drinking?
Drinking McCormick's.
Mick.
Exactly. So, and then the follow-up to that, even though we all died in the 666 Express, we come back and we do Create the Chaos.
Yes, sir.
Where we take to the
We still need to do the audio
subways.
on that.
We do. We take to the subways in New York to track down a monster, and it comes looking for us. And then I threw in another story, Death of a Resurrection Man, which was inspired, of course, by that Burke and Hare
Burke and Hare,
episode.
yes.
And we were just talking about that tonight with H.H. Holmes. So if you like that kind of stuff, go check it out. It's on my website, PeteAltieri.com. All right. Also, MurderMetalMayhem.com. We've been mentioning that. A good way to save some money on joining that 666 club.
Get discounts on the merch.
That's
the zombie
right.
shirt. The fucking
Got a
we
picture of
still
Paul
got-
back with his Murder Metal Mayhem
Yes, we
shirt
do.
on. So go check that out. And Joey, what about your distro? What's the latest on that?
Actually, I just released a new album, FTAO 72, on the label, and that is from Canada, Holy Cost, and their new split
Blondie
with
Fezzer.
Blondie Fesser, which that's Butt Chuck and Jesse for those that remember
Right.
that. So I just put out that album. That's Boobies, Beer, and
I love
Booger
that
Sugar.
title, dude.
Physical,
I love that fucking title.
physical CDs will be available on the 15th. So yeah, you can hit that up. I got new Goremager shit in the works. I got new Goremager shirts. And also, because I forgot to mention it in fucking metal, but I also got a show coming up this Friday.
New Year's Eve.
Or
yeah, Saturday. New Year's Eve.
Yeah, this Saturday. Yeah, New Year's Eve up in Yale, Michigan. And I'm playing with I Decide I, Awaiting Abyss, Alien 666, Get the Gatling, Natural Graffiti, I think some more, but at the Yale Club, so that's going to be a fucking good time.
If you're in the area, get up there and check that shit out for real. If you want to go see some good-ass metal, get up there and see that shit.
Very cool. Awesome. Very good. You can follow us on Twitter. You can like our Facebook group because our Facebook page got taken down because they're dicks.
Just do our fucking goddamn website.
Yeah, go to the website, sign up on an email list. That's the way to go because then nobody can censor us. We can say what the fuck we want.
Social media can suck a dick.
We also have the YouTube channel if that's your thing. You could support the show by going to that patreon.com/Murder Metal Mayhem page and just $3 a month. You can support what we're doing and get a discount if you join through the website, as I've been mentioning.
Word.
We hope you guys have a kick-ass New Year's Eve, and we appreciate...
Be safe out there. Don't drink and drive, because this is why I had to have Jeff come pick me up because of drinking and driving.
That's right.
Don't do it.
But no, have a good New Year's Eve, and we really look forward to a new year with you guys, and we appreciate this one because you guys have made it awesome, and we're almost at 666,000 listens. We're at 631.
We'll be there soon.
1,000 listens. So it's going to be close. It should come right around April, and that's when our 5-year is. So that would be so cool if that happened at once.
5 fucking years.
5 years and 666,000 listens. So we can't let them go without hearing a karaoke song. So this is a blast from the past to celebrate another year. Crank it up, and until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
Go build a murder house.
This is your celebration. Murder Metal Mayhem. Celebrate good time. Come on. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times. Come on. Fucking celebrate. There's a party going on right here. A celebration to last throughout the years. So bring the whiskey and the champagnes too. We're gonna celebrate the 50th podcast with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We gonna celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come out! A brutal celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! A brutal celebration. There's a podcast going on right here. A killer show to last throughout the years. So bring the porno and Cashman too. We're gonna celebrate the 50th podcast with you. Come on now. Celebration. Let's all celebrate and have a good time. Celebration. We gonna celebrate and have a good time. It's time to come together. It's up to you. What's your pleasure? Everyone around the world, come on! It's a celebration. A killer celebration. Celebrate good times, come on! Let's celebrate. Come on now. Celebrate good times. Come on. Fucking celebrate. We're gonna have good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright, baby. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Let's celebrate. It's alright. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times, come on. It's a celebration. Celebrate good times, come on. Let's celebrate. Celebrate good times, come on. Murder Metal Mayhem.
Mother, man.